Well, everyone, the time has finally come. I finally custom ROM'd some of my devices. Now, I talk so much about custom ROMing and rooting and all that stuff, and to give you guys some perspective, I rooted a bunch of phones in my past. I've rooted basically a majority of the phones that I used on a daily basis and custom ROM them. I think rooting is very cool, but the custom ROMing part is where I'm mostly, focused on. And so to root a lot of these phones, and I have a lot of Samsung phones, I have a lot of LG phones, and actually my LG G2 that I have here, I have this on a custom ROM, and I used this for like a year and a half, this exact same phone until it broke. And custom ROMing can really breathe some new life into your older devices. And this G2 stopped, I think, on like Android KitKat or something like that. And I was able to get a Lollipop ROM in here. I think there's a Lineage OS 17 ROMs on here too, which is really cool. But with my Galaxy S5, I figured this would be a really good starting point to go ahead and custom ROMing my devices. So I went ahead and installed Lineage OS 17.1 on this, which is an unofficial build. It's not officially supported, as I don't think. And I will tell you this, it is surprisingly pretty decent on the Samsung Galaxy S5. Now, to give you some perspective, this is Android 10, the latest version of Android. That's not a beta. Android 11 is already out, but that's still in a beta form. This is the full official version that is not even supported on the Galaxy S8 or the S7 or the S6, and this is the S5 and this is supported, which is pretty crazy. Now again, this is a custom ROM. It took me quite a bit of time to, actually this was the easiest phone to custom ROM out of all these. This is I think this is an unlocked global version, but as far as I know, all the Galaxy S6s from and below, those are pretty easy to custom ROM. The S7s, I think when they switched over to Snapdragons, that's when things started kind of changing around a little bit. Now with this specific phone, this came out in 2014, which is pretty crazy. That was quite a bit of time ago. And this phone, some people would call it the best Samsung Galaxy phone ever released. It was the last one to bring a removable back. The screen was, still super AMOLED. You had a micro SD card slot before they switched over to non-SD card, and then they switched it back. And I will tell you, this phone handles Android 10 surprisingly well. Now, the first time I booted it up, I was surprised to see that basically everything is there as I was expecting. Now, the wallpaper and the skin I don't really like, but that's all customizable. So I'll kind of break it down for you. Now, I think this actually isn't Lineage OS now that I think about it. But it's weird though, because as I was going through the settings and everything, it looks just like Android 10 that's on my Pixels, it's so weird. And I even switched over to About Phone, and then I went over to Android 10, and I tried to make sure that it was actually Android 10, and it actually was, because, obviously you can go ahead and change these things around too. And that was really, really surprising. So in terms of software, you have pretty much all those cool little features that you normally do have within Android 10, and I have not had any stability issues at all. This phone hasn't like randomly rebooted on me or anything like that, which is really good. That's the first thing I always look for whenever I go and custom ROM a device. Is it stable? Is it good? Can I use it on a daily basis? And I've had this on it for like 2 days, and it really hasn't even messed up yet. I will say there's a caveat to this whole thing, which I'll get into in a second, because I'll just say it now. With Lineage OS 17, which is this ROM is based off of, a lot of things do not work because this is an unofficial build. So I would not recommend you downloading this ROM and utilizing it on an everyday basis, because even though it's cool and everything, me personally, I don't use a Galaxy S5. I don't use this phone every day. I don't use it at all. Like, I haven't even touched this phone in months, so it's like perfectly fine if I mess it up or something like that, because I'm not going to use it. But if you use your phone on a daily basis, you do not want to go and install a custom ROM on it, because then it can start causing problems. Now, a really cool thing within display, and actually I don't even think it's in display, but you have all these different settings in here. But I went ahead and I don't know where this specific setting was. Oh, it was under system, and I went into advanced, and this is the craziest part. Or not even advanced, it's right here, gestures. We actually have those gestures designed, which is so funny. So we have that gesture navigation. So when you swipe up from the bottom, you can see that we actually have, we can get into the mod, we can swipe between apps like that. And it's literally just like Android 10, which is so awesome. And I was so shocked to see that. Now, I went ahead and downloaded some apps and everything. And as I was scrolling through, I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool. And surprisingly, like that was a little glitch up right there. And surprisingly, on the Galaxy S5, it handles it very smoothly. I was not expecting it to be this smooth. And honestly, dude, it kind of seems just as smooth as like my Pixel 2 XL or something like that. I was pretty shocked to see that. And if I loaded another app, let's say calling or whatever, instead of having to constantly click here and then click out or whatever, I can just go like this and swipe between apps, which is super, super cool. And it's funny because there's a jailbreak tweak on iPhones that'll allow that same thing, and we have that capability now on our Galaxy S5s, which is really, really cool. I wouldn't necessarily go and root and custom ROM the device just for that, but it's still really cool at the end of the day. Now, you do have a lot of other settings too, but I went ahead and tried to test the performance because I knew how the performance was on my Samsung Galaxy S5 running stock software. So I went ahead and kind of custom ROMmed it, and then I wanted to see how the performance was on a non-stock software, so on Android 10. And I think the performance is pretty much on par. The whole entire phone is much smoother, I will tell you that 100%. I'll tell you the specs in a second of this phone, but this phone on the software is very, very smooth. The performance on the games, however, and everything are pretty much the same. Honestly, they might be a little bit better. I just remember with the Galaxy S5 it was super glitchy. Now you can tell this game is super, super glitchy on this specific phone. So I don't really know what's going on here. But if I swipe out, you can see how much smoother it is. I probably have some footage of how this phone was before, and even like flipping around the screen and getting up here and all that stuff, it was very, very laggy on the stock software. I think it stopped on Android Marshmallow. So this phone officially stopped at Android Marshmallow, so Android 6.0. So this was 4 versions behind of what this one is on currently. If I go and go to a different game, Temple Run should run a little bit smoother. And again, this game, this ROM is unofficial, so Lineage OS 17.1 I think officially supported the Galaxy S6 and those phones, but this one was not supported, which is totally okay. And the process of custom ROMing isn't really too difficult, and as you can see, this game is kind of glitchy a little bit too. It's not the end of the world or anything, like it's, could have been worse. Actually, it kind of cleaned out a little bit, so okay, no, never mind. I will tell you this though, when I was custom ROMing this phone, it wasn't a hard process at all. Like, it wasn't like it took like 30 minutes to do. It really was pretty straightforward, but you do need a Windows PC. The other thing is that it did take a little bit of effort and a little bit of trial and error. If you have never custom ROMmed a phone or rooted a phone before, then it's going to be foreign territory. You're probably not going to know what you're doing, but I would recommend it if you have a Galaxy S5 to even try it out, or any Galaxy S device, because something like this can unlock so much more potential out of a device. Even me just kind of messing around with it and just kind of looking at it, I'm like, dude, this phone could be potentially better than like a Galaxy S8. You have some aspects, like the S8 is definitely faster and everything, but you have some aspects from this device that you don't necessarily have on a phone like the S8. The software is technically newer, it's more secure in a way. It's stock Android, which is really, really nice. And the coolest thing is you have all those different types of settings within a custom ROM. You can go and customize literally everything within this. And if you don't like this ROM, you can always go and change it up. And if you don't like this whole entire OS, you can go and change the whole OS if you want to. Obviously within Android, and you can't go switch to an iOS ROM or anything like that. But another cool thing is, you still get updates. If there's a security update, if they fix something here and there, you're still able to update it through, downloading the ROM and updating it that way, which is really, really cool. But again, going back to the process, you just have to install Odin. You have to root your phone first, or install Torp and then root your phone that way. But the biggest problem I had was sometimes when I was trying to get back into the recovery, for some reason, the ROMs that I thought were supported on here weren't necessarily supported, and the same thing happened with my Galaxy Note 4 that has glitter all over it. I just rooted this one yesterday. I think this one is a Verizon one though, so there was no point in even custom ROMing it. If you have a Verizon S5 or a Verizon phone or AT&T phone, those ones are really hard to root and custom ROM. But I spent all day almost just trying to custom ROM this one phone. As you can see, I have Super SU. This one is rooted, but I cannot install any custom ROMs on this because this one, and actually this is a Sprint one, which is the crazier part, and I still can't install any ROMs on this, which is super annoying. But this one I'm able to, which is really cool. So the features and everything are there. I think it's a really cool software. And if you have a Galaxy S5, I would 100% recommend you custom ROMing your device. It only makes sense. It's already outdated. It stopped at Android Marshmallow. And for the specs of this phone, dude, I could see myself getting, if I had to use this phone on an everyday basis, I could probably see myself getting like another 6 months to another year out of this phone easy, just based off the software. Mostly because this phone is still getting the software support from Lineage OS, or the unofficial builds of Lineage OS. And I think the last time this one was updated was not even that long ago, to be honest. I don't know if it'll tell me the last time this software was updated or whatever, and I guess it's not going to, but I'll definitely tell you, if you're interested in it, I would recommend doing it. Or even if you want a side phone to kind of mess with, I'll link a Galaxy S5 in the description below so you can check it out from there. And if you want to buy one, you can buy one there too. I mean, these things, like I said, people have claimed this to be the best Galaxy S ever made. And I don't know if it's the best one, but it's definitely up there. It was the last one to bring that removable back. It's really not that hard to custom ROM as long as you get one that's, custom ROMable. I would recommend getting a Sprint T-Mobile unlocked one. I would kind of stay away from Verizon or AT&T. Those ones have locked bootloaders, and those ones are really hard to custom ROM. So rooting is pretty easy for the most part. There's a lot of things you can get from a rooted phone, but like I said, the best aspects of customization and just rooting in general and that whole modding of an Android device usually come from custom ROMs. Lineage OS, Resurrection Remix, whatever, CyanogenMod mod if your phone is super old. Like those custom ROMs, I would rather get a custom ROM, Marshmallow ROM or Lollipop ROM over a stock TouchWiz 6.0 ROM in my opinion. So that's really pretty much it. I have other phones that I custom ROM too, so I'll go ahead and like do videos on those. My Galaxy S6 is already custom ROMmed, and you know, I figured I'd tell everyone to custom ROM their phones all the time that I might as well start custom ROMing mine as well. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions, or if you want to see any other phones custom ROMmed or rooted, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links will link down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.